Hi guys, and welcome back to the No Gluten Zone. I have another amazing recipe for you today. This is a gluten-free sourdough chocolate chip blondie. And I know that name is a mouthful, but it tastes amazing. You're going to want to make this. There is also a dairy-free option for this as well. So stick around and I will show you how to make this. Hi guys, I just wanted to interrupt your video for one moment. First, I wanted to say a huge thank you to all the people who did subscribe and helped me meet my goal of 500 subscribers. And now I'm onward in my journey and hoping to get more subscribers. So if you're viewing this and you're not subscribed, I would so appreciate if you would consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. That way I know how to plan for future videos. Thank you so much. I so appreciate each and every one of my viewers and subscribers out there. Now back to your video. We're going to start with 6 tablespoons of melted butter, and you can use a butter alternative for this. You could also totally use a very neutral flavored oil in place of this too, like an avocado oil. To the melted butter, I'm going to add half a cup of brown sugar and a quarter cup of your regular sugar. I use evaporated cane juice, so it is a little bit brown in color. It has the natural minerals still in there, but just a regular white table sugar is just fine. And we're going to mix this up. All right, to this, we're going to add an egg. And a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we're going to do some more mixing. Now we're going to add half a cup of sourdough discard. It could also be active starter, but I typically use discard in this recipe and it works just fine. Once again, we're going to do some mixing. Make sure you scrape the bowl down and scrape on the bottom. Make sure, especially that sugar, doesn't get stuck to the bottom. In this bowl, I have whisked together 1 1/8 cup of flour. I use a 1-to-1 flour for this recipe, and I will put a link in the description box to the exact recipe I use to make this flour blend, but any 1-to-1 flour blend should work in this recipe just fine. To that, I added 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. And you could use guar gum as well. You could probably use psyllium husk too. I haven't tried it, but I'm sure you could. And I'm going to add that here and mix it up. Just going to do a little scraping. A little more mixing. And just scrape it off of your mixing blade, or if you're using a handheld mixer, off of the beaters. Now you could totally leave it as it is right now and bake it like this. I'm going to add chocolate chips. I'm going to add 1 cup of chocolate chips. You could also totally do different flavors of chips. You could do the white chocolate chips. I'm doing semi-sweet. I have done butterscotch before. The only problem I had was the chips melted too soon and it all settled onto the bottom, but it It still tasted decent, so that's an option, but you could totally do variations on this at this point. And we're just going to fold the chocolate chips into the batter. Okay, so I have put parchment down in an 8x8 pan, and I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of oil. You probably don't have to, but I just want to make sure it doesn't stick. Then you're going to put it into the pan. And you just want to smooth it out into the pan in a nice, even, flat layer. Okay, here it is. I'm going to bake this in a 350-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, it's been 25 minutes. Toothpick is clean. It is done. Looks like this. And I'm going to let it cool down completely before I cut it and taste it and show you. So I'll be back. All right, guys, welcome back. It is cooled down. So this is a dough scraper. You could use like a butter knife or whatever, but I like this because it's really long. And I go around the edges and I just make sure the edges are loosened away from the pan. And then it depends how many pieces you want. Sometimes I cut it into 12. A lot of times I cut it into 9. So it just depends. If you're doing 9, you kind of eyeball the third and you cut it. You do 2 cuts this way and 2 cuts this way. Otherwise, if you're doing 12, it's a little easier because you cut it in half and then in half again, and then the same thing the other way. So today I cut it in 9 pieces and it looks like that. All the yumminess of a chocolate chip cookie, but with the texture of a brownie. Wonderful. You really gotta try it. And please leave me a comment down below and let me know how you liked it. I will put in the description box a link to my video on how I make the flour blend and also how I make my sourdough starter in case you don't have one and you want to make this recipe. Have a great day, guys, and God bless you.